Hey Magical Sparks, welcome back, it's Sparkle here, and today we're going to be turning emojis into mermaids. Now just a quick story, I was just sitting down randomly on a day in May, just thinking about what video I could make, and then randomly I just had the idea, like what if I turned some emojis into mermaids? And then I posted a poll on my community post, and a lot of you guys, which I was quite surprised by, wanted to see a mushroom-themed mermaid and a flower-themed mermaid. Now, don't take me wrong, those emojis are amazing and I love them, which is why I put them up there. But I was actually expecting more of maybe the fire emoji to get more votes or the unicorn emoji. But no, I was pretty surprised. And my initial plan was to turn maybe 3 of these emojis into mermaids, but I didn't have enough time to do that this week, so I kind of just went with 2. Anyways, let's get straight into it. So for our first mermaid, her design is going to be based on the mushroom emoji because that one got the most amount of votes. At first, I was kind of like debating on whether I should draw a mermaid or a merman, but then I kind of just went with a mermaid because firstly, I think I'm just more used to drawing mermaids, and also the mushroom emoji, it's kind of like something that I would generally associate with cottage vibes and everything. So I thought that if I drew a mermaid, I'd be able to capture those cottage vibes better through the outfit I gave her. So yeah, so off camera I did do the sketching and I did do some of the line art on camera, and then I went ahead and did the coloring. So for the coloring, I started off by coloring the mushroom emoji first so I can like see what colors are there and what markers match with them. And then what I did was I used the same red color that I used for the mushroom to color in the mermaid's hair. And then I decided to use purple because I used purple to add shadows for the mushroom emoji, so I thought it might work well. And red and purple are pretty similar colors in terms of being on the color wheel, so I did go ahead and do that. And I've also been experimenting with how I color hair, and I feel like I've almost found my unique style for that. But these colors that I used today really did help with blending out the hair and making it look really smooth because, you know, like I said before, red and purple are pretty close on the color palette, so it worked out pretty well. And then I went ahead and used a darker red marker to color in the tail. I think you call it a tail, right, for mermaids? And this is how that turned out. It's a bit darker than the color I used for the hair, but then I did end up using that same color, the darker red, to add some more shadows to the hair as well. So now it all looks kind of balanced out since there's red at the top of her design and at the bottom. Also, in terms of the actual design for this drawing, I decided to kind of incorporate the cottagey vibes that mushrooms give by adding really puffy sleeves and the ribbon and the bow on her top. And I think that just adds to that cottageness and everything. And I also decided to make the hair really puffy and everything. I tried to make it look like the shape of the mushroom, and I think it's not completely obvious, but it kind of like resembles the shape. And that's also what I was thinking kind of when I drew at the bottom of her tail as well. Also, I just have to say this, when I was sketching at this drawing, everything was going fine, but then the face was something that I was having serious problems with. I did erase it and tried to redraw it multiple times, and in the end I got something that I was like fairly satisfied with. But as soon as I did the line art, I began to dread the face. I just don't know what it is about the face, it just does not look good, and because of that one reason, I really just wanted to stop doing this drawing and maybe redraw the mushroom inspired mermaid by herself some other time. But then I did just go ahead and do the coloring anyway, and in the end I'm happy that I did, and I'm happy that I did record the process because I think that the coloring kind of hides the face of it and it doesn't make it that much of a big thing to see. I mean, you're probably looking at it now that I'm talking about it, but I think it's just the proportions or where I placed the nose and the mouth that made the difference, but it's okay, we can deal with it. Also, when I was coloring this mermaid, I have no idea why, but I realized how similar her color palette is to my OC Blossom. If you don't know, she's like one of my original characters. She's also a mermaid, and her hair and her tail are pretty much the same color. The design is different, but the colors are pretty much the same. I mean, it isn't a big deal, but it's just something I happened to get really shocked about when I noticed it. But anyways, now it's time to add some colors to the background. And of course, time to fix up some messy coloring and add in those circles because otherwise it wouldn't look like a mushroom inspired mermaid. And here we are, here's the finished drawing. And now it's time for the next one. And so for our next mermaid today, we're going to be drawing a mermaid inspired by the flower emoji, specifically this flower emoji. Now this one I was especially excited to draw because I love the colors of the flower. Also, I love making any drawing that's inspired by flowers and just the floral theme. So again, for this one, what I did was I did the sketching off camera, some of the line art on camera, and now we're doing the coloring. And I started off by coloring in the flower. Right now it is going to look a little bit saturated because the marker I used was a saturated yet pastel marker. But in the end, I did end up using a less saturated pastel marker to go over it and kind of desaturate the color. But before I confuse you even more, my point is that in the end, you'll get to see how the flower actually looks once I'm done. Okay, and now for the hair here as well, I used the same idea that I did for my previous drawing because it's kind of like my new style, I think. It's developing into my new style. And I used this kind of orangish brownish marker that I also used to add some shadows to the flower because I thought it might match well with the color palette. Then I went ahead and added more pink and then blended that out, and in the end I think it looks really cool because it matches with the colors of the emoji. I also love how flowy the hair turned out as well, and I think that's just like one of the good things about doing mermaid, because when you do a mermaid you don't have to draw feet and you can really be loose with how you draw because you can draw their hair as crazy as you want it to be. And as for the mermaid tail, you can choose to make it really structured or you can choose to make it really loose and flowy, and I think it just helps make your art looser in general as well. That being said though, you don't have to draw mermaids only in May, you can draw whenever you want. Which reminds me that Mermaid is coming to an end this year because May is coming to an end as well, and I'm hoping to get this video out before May ends, hopefully. But we'll see how it all goes. If it all goes as planned, then I'll be able to get it out. But yeah, I haven't drawn too many mermaids specifically in May or in my sketchbook this month. And like I was saying before, that is completely okay. Also, I just want to add, I got these new Prismacolor markers. They are so cool. I got it as a surprise gift from my parents and I'm absolutely in love with them. They are amazing. And one of the reasons why I actually drew mermaids in my book was because I got these markers and I was just so excited to use them. And these markers are literally so good. I think I might make a review video on them at some point. But before that, of course, I also have my 1K special that's going to be coming up, so stay tuned for that and don't forget to click the notification bell so you can be the first to watch my new videos. Alright, and with all that put aside, let's talk about this actual drawing. So for this drawing, I decided to incorporate the flower theme by adding a flower near her ear and adding flowers on her top near the sleeves, as well as near her tail, like a little design there. And I just tried to incorporate flowers a lot, and I tried to incorporate the colors from the flower emoji into the drawing, as you can tell, for the hair, and soon enough for her tail and her top as well. And something that I am just realizing is that the colors that I used for the other mermaid that we drew, that one kind of looks like my OC Blossom. But the colors that I used for this mermaid look so similar to the other mermaid that I drew in my last video where I compared Arctic markers and the Huru markers. And wow, okay, I did not actually see that happening, but yeah, these drawings all look pretty similar then, I guess, in terms of the color choices at least. Alright, so a quick question for you guys. I haven't actually named these mermaids yet, I've just been calling them mermaids. So if you have any ideas or suggestions for names, comment them down below and let me know. I'll pick my favorite ones. I'm really happy with how the pose turned out on this page because I didn't use a reference, but I still think it turned out really cool and pretty flowy as well. And because you can't see the design exactly since she's sitting down, I also decided to draw this little mermaid version of her and color that in so you can see the design, and I think it's just so cute. But if I could change anything at all about this drawing, I think I might just next time if I do this again, I would use a purple fine liner to do the outlining instead, because I feel like black isn't that bad, but it kind of just makes the drawing a little rough in a way, and the purple would have made it look a little softer. And now that I kind of know the color palette and the design as well, I think purple would have been the right choice. And for the mushroom inspired mermaid, maybe a maroon fine liner. And yeah, if I'm redrawing these mermaids again, that's probably what I would do differently. Also, while I did do the rough sketch for this drawing off camera, I was ready to do like the rest of the sketching process and the line art process on camera. The thing is that if I did do that, this video would have become really long, or I would have had to cut out some really important parts as well. So that's why I'm only showing the coloring. But I would love to hear your thoughts, so let me know in the comments below. Do you like videos where it's mainly coloring or line art and coloring, or the entire process from sketching to coloring to finishing up the entire drawing? let me know. Also, yeah, here is when I added more color on top of the tail just to desaturate it a little bit. And I did the same thing that I did for the other drawing because I colored in the eyes and used that same color to color in the background as well, just to make the entire page more cohesive. And of course, we cannot forget those highlights. And here's how that turned out, but we're not done just yet. So with my Prismacolor marker set, I also did get this metallic pen. This is the fine one, and it's so pretty. This is the silver metallic pen. I am obsessed with it. It's literally so good. And it's so sparkly and shiny. So I used it firstly to outline the emojis, and I was going to leave it there, but then I decided to outline the mermaids as well. So for the first mermaid, I did mainly use this pen to do the outlining, but then for the second mermaid, I switched out to using my metallic gel pen to do the outlining. And after that, we are pretty much done. But seriously, just look at how well it's sliding on the paper and how shiny the silver color is. It's so beautiful. Alright, and now it's time for the grand reveal in 3, 2, and 1. Here we are. Here's how both the pages turned out. Here's how the entire spread turned out. And here are how our mermaids turned out based on the 2 emojis that you guys voted for. Anyways, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Have a fabulous day. Stay awesome as always, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!